I think we have to see this initiative against the backdrop of the astonishing events that Belarus has witnessed over the past 10 days since the election on 9th of August. We have seen a nationwide coming together in outrage at the flagrant falsification of these elections, and then the brutal treatment amounting to torture of those who peacefully demonstrated. The whole country from border to border is demanding change now and demanding that Lukashenko leave. This is a situation he has never encountered before, and he's made mistake after mistake in recent days in trying to improvise a response. The latest proposals are, I think, really not to be taken seriously. This is not someone who can now play any future in the party of Belarus. His authority has been so comprehensively undermined. He's improvising, he's playing for time. He had a chance to share power when he was elected for the first time, the only time freely, back in 1994. At that time, he inherited a democratic constitution. He then changed that through a constitutional referendum and subsequent rigged elections, and gathered to himself authoritarian powers. This is not someone with a democratic bone in his body. I think he's just playing for time. As for Russia, they are watching this situation very, very closely indeed. They have long harbored an ambition to subordinate Belarus into some sort of integrated state. They will not want to see the uncertainty and turbulence now in Belarus undermine that. But they are not sure how to respond. Make no mistake, they're not on the sidelines. They're just trying to figure out what the best way to do that is. There's a lot of focus in the media on the possibility of intervention with sort of tanks across borders or something. We should never rule that out, although that at this point is not the most likely scenario. They will try to find subtler ways working within the country to achieve an outcome that is tolerable to them.
It's tempting to draw a line across from what happened in Ukraine and then to look at the same playbook reoccurring for Belarus. But I think what's quite notable is that the demonstrators at this point, they're not pro-Western. They're definitely not pro-Russian. They don't seem to be calling for some Western involvement in the removal of Lukashenko. So in your interpretation of how this plays forward, what incentive is there for either President Putin or the West to get more involved in what's going on in the country?
You're absolutely right. That's a very important point of contrast. The Belarusian movement and demand for change is solely focused on domestic issues. All they want is for the release of political prisoners and for fully free and fair elections to take place, to be able to decide their own future. We do not see foreign flags, EU flags, for example, as we've seen in previous years and previous demonstrations in Belarus. So it's all about Belarus. And that means that Western countries, of course, need to be very concerned about what is happening there, need to condemn the human rights violations, need to support the peaceful popular demand for democratic self-government. But they must listen very carefully to what Belarusians themselves want. They shouldn't sort of insert themselves too visibly, and they shouldn't make the story about themselves. It's about Belarus and Belarus alone. And yes, indeed, Belarus is not ill-disposed towards Russia. They, by and large, are very well-disposed. The vast majority of Belarusians speak Russian. The anthem of change that they have adopted is a popular Russian song, in fact. They have said that they want good relations with Russia. Ironically, it's Lukashenko who has the track record of having the most difficult, sort of fractious relationship with Putin. Those two leaders cordially detest one another, and Lukashenko has on occasion been very rude. The irony now is just before the election, he had 33 Russian mercenaries in Minsk arrested and in very dramatic and public fashion, and claimed that they were trying to undermine Belarus somehow. After the election now, he's calling for Russian help to save him. So it's ultimately, this is about Belarus and everyone should understand and respect and support the demand for peaceful change.